Get NFL Sunday Ticket at its lowest price ever and watch every game every Sunday. Take your NFL experience to even greater heights with NFL Sunday Ticket Deluxe, which gives you Red Zone, bringing you the final yards from around the league along with minute-to-minute NFL fantasy updates. Call us at 601-8992 to sign up today.
Good evening, Bahamas, and thanks for joining us at MB12. Coming up tonight in news, a man wanted in a murder investigation turns himself into police days after he says they released him. What tourism officials are doing in the wake of a crime warning from a cruise line, teachers facing a pay cut after yesterday's protest, and a woman accused of plotting to kill her husband goes on trial. We have those stories and much more coming up tonight. I'm Christina McNeil, and your MB12 starts right now. Thanks for joining us. On Sunday night, police released the pictures of 16 men they wanted to question in relation to various crimes, including murder, rape, and armed robbery. Among those men police said were wanted for questioning in murder investigations was 20-year-old Andre Thompson, whose picture made it onto our newscast last night and the front page of the Tribune newspaper this morning. However, it turns out that police made an error, and Thompson wasn't really wanted at all. Juan McCartney has his story.
Andre Thompson turned 22 days ago, but instead of celebrating his birthday, he's been worrying about his picture being plastered across different media, saying he's wanted for questioning in connection with the murder that occurred in June. Well, Thompson turned himself in to CDU today. His family said they're frustrated that police may have permanently damaged his reputation. Thompson was supposedly wanted in connection with the death of Jonathan Roll, who was murdered on June 24th. However, nobody seemed to realize that police already picked him up last month and questioned him extensively about the matter. He turned himself in with his lawyer, Christina Galanis, on August 23rd. The next day, Galanis says she went to CDU and sat through his interview with police. 5 days later, much to the chagrin of his parents, James and Andrea Thompson, he was released.
He was not released until the 29th of August. He was released without any charges, and as far as we were concerned, that was the end of the matter.
But it wasn't over. After a spate of murders, National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage highlighted Thompson as one of the police force's most wanted men last Thursday. Galanis said hours later, around 4 a.m. on Friday, police went to Thompson's house in Pinewood Gardens. His mother told them he was home, but explained what happened last month.
Those same police officers made a call, confirmed that he was arrested and released. They told Mr. Thompson's parents that it was still in the system. They apologized and they left. Now this morning, there's a headline in the Tribune listing Mr. Thompson as wanted with his picture.
Thompson's father today explained his surprise as well.
And I was watching the TV, and then I saw his name's up again. You know, so I called my wife and I tell her they still have his name up as wanted. And then this morning when I look in the paper, bright and bold, you know, I had co-workers come to me and ask me if this is my son. You know, because they heard me talking about the situation, you know, and I had family call from in the Outer Islands wanting to know what happened.
Now, Thompson, who said he's been steadily looking for work for about a year, believes he is being treated unfairly.
I mean, me feel like they trying to, my character, everyone calling me, looking at me different now. I do not.
And this matter with this Roll man who was murdered, you satisfied, the police were satisfied that you didn't have anything to do with it?
What's up?
This interview took place around 2 p.m. today. By 3 p.m., Galanis once again took Thompson to the Central Detective Unit on Thompson Boulevard to turn him over to police to seek to have his name cleared, though he feared he was looking at another days-long stint in custody. We followed Thompson to CDU where his lawyer turned him in. He was inside for all of 5 minutes before police realized that they didn't really want him there. He said today that he's just grateful this thing is over. So you came to CDU and they tell you that you are no longer wanted. Now how do you feel?
Yeah, much better than that. They wouldn't be fooling me for nothing and stuff like that. That's it.
So you feel you could now live your life?
What's up? What's up?
You don't plan on being back here again?
What's up?
However, Thompson's father isn't as relieved. He thinks police should, at the very least, publicly apologize to his son.
And they just expect you to go on. You know, when they had my oldest son locked up for 2 years and found out he was innocent, it was like, so what? You know, 2 years of his life went, lost his job, had to struggle to look for a job for must be 6 months, and there was nothing done, no recompense or nothing.
We're moving forward. Perhaps we need to look at a way of enacting some laws to speak to that. When you list a man in the media, be it the Tribune, the Guardian, anything, as wanted, the police should be made to satisfy that they have explored certain avenues in finding this person. Because if you're calling the man wanted and he's at home and you know where he lives, how is he wanted?
Meantime, Thompson, who's a graduate of R.M. Bailey Senior High School, said he's still looking for a job.
I like fix things. I even work in a hotel and stuff like that.
Police didn't offer any public apologies today. They also didn't give any status update on the rest of the men who they said are wanted for questioning. Reporting for MB12, I'm Juan McCartney.
Well, as crime continues to threaten this country's tourism product, government is sending a strong message to criminals preying on visitors and locals. You may have noticed an increased police presence in local tourist hotspots like downtown Nassau. Tourism Minister Obi Wilshcombe says it was prompted by recent security warnings issued to cruise passengers visiting the Bahamas.
I think is going to send a very strong message to all concerned, whether it's in the Bahamas, outside of the Bahamas, that we take the issues very seriously and that we're responding to their concerns. We're a peaceful nation and we want the world to know that. Our incidents of the past we want to put behind us and move forward. So I think the minister moved extremely well, and I'm so very supportive of it.
The increase in police presence is also part of the National Security Minister's plan to double the number of officers on the front line. Just last month, major cruise line Carnival made waves when it advised passengers on its ship to stay in tourist areas in Nassau, return to the ship before sunset, and refrain from wearing jewelry or carrying large sums of cash. Wilshcombe says it remains a huge concern.
We'll always be concerned, and so we're meeting with them. The FCCA meets later this month in Colombia. We have a delegation there to talk with them. Obviously, we want to show them the moves that we're making, but you have to appreciate the cruise lines have a liability concern. Any visitor on their vessel is subject to any incident. They then become responsible. So we understand, except that they've been extreme, and so we have to be very concerned of the letters we write and when we advise, because what is the purpose of having the relationship if they're not to help and contribute to our economy? So it is our responsibility to ensure that such letters do not appear.
Tension between the Bahamas Union of Teachers and education officials could worsen as the two sides butt heads over impending pay cuts. Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald revealed today government will in fact cut the pay of scores of teachers who protested outside his office yesterday. However, BUT President Belinda Wilson claims Fitzgerald is being emotional and warned it would not be in the minister's best interest to touch any of her members' salaries. Vonique Toot reports.
Nearly 200 public school teachers who protested outside the Ministry of Education yesterday will pay the price for what Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald calls unwarranted and irrational actions. He says there's no doubt their salaries will be cut, adding deductions could be made as early as this month.
It's going to be just under 200 teachers that we intend to, they will see the deduction in their pay, if not this payday, definitely by next month.
However, the Bahamas Union of Teachers says not so fast. In a statement issued Monday, BUT officials insisted that Fitzgerald has no grounds to cut anyone's salary, warning if he does, he will be the one to, quote, pay the price.
I find it really a bad example for any leader to tell its members not to report to work, and then when the employer deducts their pay, they then say that the employer cannot do that. I think it sends a bad example. I think it's an insult to the 97% of teachers who showed up.
BUT President Belinda Wilson, who spent the day in meetings with labor officials, accused Fitzgerald of being emotional. She says if he moves ahead with pay cuts, the union will move to have teachers reimbursed immediately. Labor Minister Shane Gibson disagrees. While he noted that yesterday's protest was a show of democracy, Gibson says teachers shouldn't expect to be paid for time they didn't work.
Just as I don't expect you to work and not get paid, I don't expect you to not work and be paid.
Don't want the union to in any way mistake my kindness for weakness.
Despite the months-long standoff between union and education officials, Fitzgerald says teachers were back on the job today.
I understand that every teacher reported to work on time this morning, so I commend all of them for that.
However, it might not be the end of union action. Wilson insisted it is in the education minister's best interest to resolve the 6 trade disputes currently on the table before creating another problem like pay cuts. The union is demanding resolution to several pressing issues, including victimization, the removal of 2 principals, school repairs, teacher shortages, and millions of dollars the union claims is owed to teachers. The BUT president warned Fitzgerald that if he keeps pushing union officials, they'll be forced to take further action, adding she doesn't have to say much more than that. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
And members of the Parent-Teacher Association of Anatole Rogers say they are standing for what they believe in, just like the teachers who protested yesterday. But PTA President Rena Hudson says that means standing up for the quality of education students receive at Anatole Rogers. Executives of the PTA say violence at the school is one of the major issues they have sought to have the principal address to no avail. Now they are demanding accountability. Back in February, a letter was sent to Anatole Rogers principal Myrtle McPhee outlining a list of concerns of the parents. Among them, an item that calls on the school to create a non-tolerant approach to violence and bad behavior. PTA Assistant Treasurer Jamaica Ambrose says her family has been personally affected by violence at the school when she claims her daughters were attacked on school grounds.
She was hit in the face with bottles. She, 10th grade, I found out, she's in the 7th grade, 10th grade, I found out had in a chokehold where she had to bite him to break loose. It was ongoing. 2 students, one walked around with the window still, the other one had a chair leg threatening to hit her and my oldest daughter.
The school is not being managed properly, and that's where we have a problem. We're not here telling someone how to do their job, but we're giving you advice from parents, and that advice is not being taken, adhered to. She's not even acknowledging us. Right. So what do parents do in that case? Do we sit back and allow our children to enter into a school where they don't feel safe?
The PTA made more than 24 recommendations to school administrators, ranging from getting the principal to prioritize time to accommodate parents to working on getting air conditioning in the school's gym. But members of the PTA maintain that management is at the heart of the issue. She says the PTA has been asked on multiple occasions to send a letter of support to the school's principal, but has not done so due to the overwhelming concerns that need to be addressed at the school.
When we hear the word that we are in support of the principal at the school, we had to come because we are parents and we have too much concerns in Anatole Rogers to be just, for us not to be heard and the truth not to be told. But we are not in support of the principal at Anatole Rogers. The PTA, honestly, we will sit back and we would ask for the dismissal of the principal of Anatole Rogers.
Hudson says after much back and forth between the PTA and school administrators, the concerns still have not been addressed, and after the PTA refused to give its support, Principal Myrtle McPhee subsequently dissolved the PTA, revoking the body's permission to hold meetings on campus. Hudson says parents, however, remain united to secure the best education possible for their children. When contacted today, McPhee declined to give comment. Bahamas Educators Managerial Union President Charles Wildgoose told our news team the union is in support of all principals, but it is unfortunate these issues have arisen. He hopes the parents, teachers, and administrators at Anatole Rogers can meet to resolve the issues.